Hello and welcome to another podcast of Model Technology. Today we're talking to Andrew Davies, the Digital Health Lead at the Association of British Health Tech Industries. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Stephen. Good to meet you. Good to be here.
Good to meet you too, sir. I was hoping today that you might be able to introduce yourself to the audience, and then we can discuss about what you're doing inside of ABHI in London.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah. Hello. My name's Andrew Davies. As Stephen said, I'm Digital Health Lead at the Association of British Health Tech Industries, which is normally shortened to ABHI, as it's much less of a mouthful. ABHI is a trade association for health technology companies. So we have around 350 members spanning medical devices, diagnostics, and digital health solutions. We're really here to support the industry, to help them grow, to help the sector thrive, and really support this really important sector for the UK economy.
So, Andrew, could you tell me something about yourself and how you ended up where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in the medical device industry for over 30 years. I lose track of the exact number. I took a well-trodden path, really, or at least well-trodden back in the day, starting in sales, moving into marketing, and going into sort of more commercial roles, business unit directors, into sort of business development and M&A. I say all within sort of medical device sector. Various technologies range from large capital equipment down to fast-moving consumables within that. And I got about 10 years ago now, I'm coming up to our 10th anniversary at ABHI. I got the chance to move here, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. Partly because of the role of ABHI, we cover such a broad range of activities, and with such diverse members, you never know what's going to come along onto your desk next. Plus, of course, in more recent years, we've had quite a lot of turmoil for one reason or another, be it pandemics or Brexit, that have significantly impacted society broadly, but certainly the health technology sector.
Absolutely. And I think this is why the podcasts have been created. We're trying to tell people that there's a lot of good work going on inside the NHS in the UK with your organisation and many others. So that the last few years of perhaps of concern are falsely founded, and there are a lot of great opportunities inside the NHS in the UK through organisations like yourself. So, Andrew, how does ABHI support digital health and digital health companies?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we've got the 350 members, and they cover every sort of technology. So the way we work in ABHI is we split things into groups, so we can focus on particular needs. So we have some clinical groups, so cardiovascular, cancer, diabetes, etc. We also have some sort of broader cross-cutting groups, and digital health is one of those. So we have specific work programs around digital health. And of those 350 members, probably about 100 of those companies have joined the digital health section. So what we're doing within that group, we have a number of priorities, and the priorities are set by the members. We're very much a bottom-up organisation at ABHI. We do what the members in the groups want rather than anything top-down. So from the board is there to provide an overview and strategic direction, but the work programs developed by the members. So particularly within digital health at the moment, probably sort of four big areas. I'll talk about the first three, and the last one kind of overlaps all of those, but I'll come to that. So the big three, as I'll call them, are first of all data, anything to do with data. So data access, data curation, data interoperability, these sorts of issues we're dealing with, and particularly right now there's a lot of work going on around the secure data environments, which looks like a really good project being rolled out from the NHS and supported centrally from government. So working closely on that. The other thing is information governance, which is one of those things that is rather sporadic in its application within the NHS. The NHS is a very devolved organisation, From the outside, you might see the one NHS logo, but it's actually many, many different organisations. And for the information governance side, it's those individual organisations who have the legal responsibility. So we're working to try and streamline the current process and to see how we can have a more standardised approach for information governance, as it becomes a bit of a blocker to adoption of digital health technologies. So that's sort of data. We can go back into that a bit more if you like. Second is market access, and particularly looking at sort of that assessment into reimbursement program. So looking at some of the programs within NICE, the early value access program, etc., as well as the existing MTech programs, and how that links into commission structures and funding for digital health applications. And lastly is regulation. So absolutely, regulation of software as a medical device, looking at it from that MDR, MDD, UKCA, UKCE, whichever terminology you want to use. We're in a state of flux at the moment, but looking at that's part of regulation, but also looking at how it overlaps with other areas. So there's obviously the data regulation, and we have data protection bill going through Parliament at the moment, and we'll also be looking at how some sort of the broader legislation impacts. So we've got a white paper on AI coming out. Is out right now for consultation for the UK government, which again, we'll look at what are the impacts at a particular sectoral level for us from some of those broad-based legislation as well. So anything that can impact on digital health.
Okay, so let's talk about. So they're the four.
Yeah. What I was just going to say is that there is number 4, which kind of overlaps all of those, which is artificial intelligence. So we are looking at how that is regulated. We're looking at the data needs for training of artificial intelligence. So it overlaps those big 3, but we're tackling it somewhat separate, as we think there's some specific issues that we really need to look at when it comes to artificial intelligence. I think how the standards are going to be developed, because certainly the way the UK is looking at this around AI is to take very much a sort of standards and guidance type approach rather than legislation. So it's somewhat slightly different to Europe. So looking at how a standard is going to be developed, what's the impact going to be. Also some of the particular issues around sort of trust and deployment, and how you actually go about doing that with AI, and how you take the users, be those the healthcare professionals or the end users, patients and public, with you on the journey.
The ABHI have been trying to lobby the government about the members' interests in regards to reimbursement, in regards to regulatory affairs, and in regards to AI. Do you have any comments on those?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we have some formal interfaces with government. The structures for the interface between industry and government are fairly well established now. So the Life Science Council is co-chaired by industry and government, and on the government side is Secretary of State, for example. That represents the whole life science sector, so the biotech, pharma, and health tech. Underneath the Life Science Council, we got the Health Technology Partnership, which is co-chaired by the Minister and our chair, which is Neil Mesher from Philips. With those are the formal structures that we use to absolutely talk about the issues around regulation, for example, as you mentioned. And it's through that Life Science Council, you'd have noticed, when was it, a couple of months ago, there was a statement about how regulation is going to be developed in the UK, the new UKCA mark, and ABHI played a key role alongside other organisations, obviously like MHRA, in helping shape that. Absolutely.
So it seems to me that the state of flux with MDR in Europe and the recent AI legislation released by Europe puts the UK in a pretty good position for a centre for innovation When it's formulating already the regulatory pathways, I think that they're looking quite healthy, and that will involve AI, I think, and data management. So that's a great opportunity for people.
Absolutely. It is, we are now looking at, how do we have a UK sovereign regulatory regime? And the MHRA have put forward, their roadmap for software and AI, which, it looks really good. We're very supportive of that. And, our key message to government is make sure you resource the MHRA, make sure that program gets delivered. We're happy with the program, deliver it. And, another aspect, we're very pleased about, both within that roadmap, but more generally, is the international approach that the MHRA is taking, looking at how they can align with not just the EU, but other jurisdictions as well, most notably, of course, the US.
I think they've done that with the pharmaceutical industry beautifully.
Yeah. And I'd say we've already seen it. There's been some joint principles around sort of machine learning put out by MHRA, FDA, and Health Canada. So, absolutely, we'd love to see more of this taking an international approach, because the UK, is a relatively small market when you look at it in terms of the global pot. It's 2 to 3%, depending on which figures you look at. So we, innovators in the UK might start here, but they'll want to go international.
Absolutely, but if it makes it a healthier place to start and makes it better for the life science industry and the tech industry, then that's so much better for investors in the country. So that's a great opportunity. So Andrew, if I'm a small startup in the digital world and I've got a wonderfully clever app, how do you support companies like this in the United Kingdom?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways we aim to support companies generally, and we'll come on some more specifics of digital health. But broadly, we have three roles. One is to create a favourable environment for those companies, and that's a very broad role, and that's where these interfaces with government that we talked about come in to ensure that we have the right policies and regulations, etc. We have a lot of interface with government and the regulators doing that. And one of the things we can do is share that knowledge with our members. And it's, I think, particularly important for the SMEs. They don't have the large bandwidth of the corporate. They don't have as many people out in the field. They don't have specialist roles in health economics or these sorts of things. So, having a concise source of the right information is really valuable for companies. So that's one thing that we do.
Okay.
Second is we provide networking opportunities, both between industries, so they can learn from peers about things that have worked or not worked, it's both from, again, small companies and large companies. We bring all different types of companies together within our working groups, and we also bring sort of professional service companies. Within ABHI membership, we've got a lot of legal firms, we've got sort of consultancies, we've got standards organizations. Yes. So they're in the right forums to have the conversations. But also we can link people up with the external networks as well. And we, as ABHI, we have memorandums of understanding with some of the big sort of city regions across the UK. Birmingham, Leeds, Manchester, Cambridge, these sorts of areas. So we have not just that national reach, but we have more frontline reach through those MOUs. So we have the opportunity there to do some matchmaking between what the system is asking for and what the companies
that's very interesting. So do you think in that context you could help digital companies from Europe matchmake into the integrated care systems and into the regions?
From the Europe or from UK, we have that capability. Can I say we'll be able to matchmake every single company with someone in the NHS? No, it depends what the needs are from the customer at a given time and what the offer is. But that's one of the mechanisms we can use. We also have strong links in with the HSNs, and of course companies can go direct to HSNs. But again, we can provide advice around that. The HSNs have got slightly different focuses, and we can advise which is perhaps the, a better HSM for a given type of technology or clinical area, these sorts of things.
Okay. Okay. So, Andrew, can you discuss the route to market for digital healthcare systems or digital healthcare operators in the UK?
Sure, yeah. I mean, like any sort of medical technology, actually in the UK and the NHS, there is no one route to market. But there are some routes that are perhaps more proven and more robust than others. And most of that lies through NICE. NICE is the national. It's got slightly different standing in Scotland and versus other areas. But let's everyone pays attention to NICE in the UK and outside the UK actually. So yeah, NICE is a well-trodden path. To get products onto market and to actually signal to the system that this is a product worth looking at. There's many varied routes to market for digital health technologies in the UK. You can of course go direct to individual organisations and sell your wares, so to speak. But actually, one of the things I hear a lot from the system is there's so much out there, so much digital technology, we don't know which one to use.
Yes.
So the important part of the landscape is NICE. NICE has a lot of history of evaluating medical technology and is putting more and more emphasis behind digital technology specifically at the request of NHS England. So that is a key route. And they recently brought in a new program, the Early Value Access program, which again is broadly for medical technology, but all the first tranche that have gone through it have all been about digital technologies. And this allows companies to put forward technologies that might not have the evidence for a full medical technology evaluation program. So going in at an earlier stage, getting that signal to the system that this is a technology that is worth looking at, giving themselves more time as part of that program to gather more evidence for then reassessment and going into the full program. And that full program in time, can lead on to funding mandates and this sort of thing, depending on various other criteria. But that program by NICE, I think is a strong signal to the system about the importance of digital health technology and a strong signal to industry about how digital technologies are seen as a really key part of how we ensure that we have an efficient and effective health service. And
there's a lot of good case studies associated with it on the NICE website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think it's an excellent program. All right. Well, I thank you very much for your time today on this opportunity to talk to you. And I hope we have many others as things develop in the UK over the next 12 months. But I'm very grateful for your time. And I think the ABHI do a fabulous job. And I'm very pleased to see that there's new and emerging opportunities. And so thank you very much, Andrew, for your time today.
Pleasure, Stephen. Nice to meet you. Thank you.